Mm. Hello, good evening, and thank you everybody for joining us today. We're so excited. We'll be talking about um, creating stress and the importance of the value of stress. I thank God for Evangelist Velma Jean Bennett being on, and I thank God for Dr. Kim McKenzie being on. We appreciate her. How you doing, Dr. McKenzie?
Wonderful. How's everybody doing?
Doing
Blessed,
great.
blessed.
I'm going to
Good.
say a quick prayer because we're running a little late. And then we're going to have Dr. McKenzie because I know she put on first because she's got something else to do. And I appreciate her being on, and she's a real doctor. Gracious Father in heaven, we thank you for blessing. Thank you for being in your presence. We ask you to bless the words that will go forth on tonight and teach us how to minister to ourselves and to others. Bless us in Jesus' holy name. We thank God. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to have Dr. McKenzie go forth at this time.
Amen. Good evening, everyone. It is definitely an honor and a privilege to be on this call today to share um, information about stress, what stress looks like. Um, it's so great to see you, Dr. Roaches.
It's good to
It's been
see
a while
you
since
too,
I.
baby.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And everybody
I
that's
love you,
watching,
girl.
I love you too. I love you too. Um, and so I did briefly, you know, I loved the ministries that Dr. Roaches have and how she reaches a multitude of people and not just in one specific area, different areas of our lives. And so when we look at stress, I've often heard people, I'm too blessed to be stressed. Um, I don't have any stress in my life. I'm stress free and things like that. And from a, I guess, positive standpoint, those are good affirmations, right? So it's good to always speak positive, speak life into our own lives as well as others. But the truth of the matter is that we all have stress, and we look at stress as that. Oh my God, I can't sleep at night. I'm having headaches. I'm tired. I've lost my appetite. I'm crying a lot. I'm having all these other issues that actually identifies what stress or depression or things like that looks like. But I just want to kind of open up your thought process and letting you know that stress doesn't necessarily have a look. It doesn't have a specific, um, thing that happened. Like you may not binge eat, you may not lose sleep, but we all deal with stress. And yeah, we may be accustomed to blocking out negativity, and we don't deal with people that cause any kind of triggers and trauma in our lives. But we live in a society where there is a lot of stressful things, a lot of ungodly things, a lot of things that is happening around us. And if you have a heart for people, empathy and compassion, we are hit with some of those stress factors. We all have those stress hormones in our bodies, and it's how we handle them. You may think that you don't have any stress, but you do. It's just the way that you handle those different stresses. It's like I don't think about it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing to say I don't think about it. I don't think about it, because sometimes when we push things away, far, far away, or we don't want to deal with things, and we think it's not worth our time, over time they will surface, and sometimes they surface with a big punch to the gut. And then we say, I didn't realize that I was under that much stress, or I didn't realize that that thing really bothered me. So stress is not a bad thing. We look at stress like, oh, I don't want to identify myself with that bad word. It's not, because stress helps us to regroup, reprocess, refocus, um, reset, and all those things. So we all have stress factors, whether we recognize them, whether we deal with them head on, whether we ignore them, they're there. And we often categorize stress as, oh my God, this is such a horrible thing. Um, I don't, want to look like I'm stressed out. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to overeat. I don't want to be so tired. I don't want to do that. But stress doesn't necessarily come in that form. It doesn't necessarily come in that form. So we don't necessarily see stress like that. We may be to the point where um, we like, oh my God, I don't want to hear anybody talk today. I want quiet. So sometimes that's associated with stress. I've heard enough voices for today. I've talked enough for today, and I don't want to hear anybody else's talk. I just want to go home, be by myself, you know, turn on some music, gospel music, whatever music you listen to, watch my favorite show, and block everybody else out. Those are different examples of stress that we deal with. I just want to kind of like block out all the noise. Or I want to sit down and I just want to get me a big bag of chips and I want to finish the whole bag. So those are different things that are associated with some type of level of stress. And so don't think that when you say, oh my, I'm feeling a little stressed, that you are saying something negative or bad towards yourself. It's just identifying that life has been lifing, and you're a part of the process. And being a part of the process, the world that we live in, we endure certain levels of stress factors. Those stress hormones, they build up, and if you can quickly identify with it and kind of resolve the issue, talk through it, whatever you do to kind of get you on that, go for a walk, you can do that. But we all have some level of stress in our lives. If you're watching the news, and the news bring a lot of bad news, unfortunately, those are different stress factors that we tend to deal with in life. And you may say, oh, I'm turning this off, I'm sick of hearing that. Those are already triggers that will cause some level, it will definitely activate those stress hormones, and it will cause some level of stress. Some people are really, really good with negating past that, like, okay, I need to think about something else. But it had already entered into your mind, your thought process. And if you have a heart, if your heart beats, I want to be a little bit more. If you have a heartbeat, then you have some type of stress factors um, that will happen. Um, at the particular moment, we may say today or this week was a stress-free week, but we do deal with stress factors. I want to pause right here and see if anyone has any comments, anything that they want me to kind of laser focus on, from either comments on Facebook or comments on this panel.
I have a question. You know, what do you do when you have? I got a question that I wrote down. When you're the most important person in your life you're invisible to that person. That person doesn't pay you attention, don't give you no comments, doesn't like. For instance, if you're married, then your husband always act like you're invisible, but you trying to put everything necessary in the marriage. But he's ignoring you, going out with his friends, and just doing the most. How do you handle that kind
So,
of?
so I do want to speak on that because believe it or not, it happens quite a bit in a lot of marriages, a lot of households, and a lot of relationships. Um, if you have not, or you're not able to have that conversation with that significant other, then you have to either, and sometimes when people are like that, they're not necessarily prone to speak with a counselor, but you need to seek counseling. We can't force anybody to do anything and what to do, but what one thing about it, when a person sees that you no longer are paying attention to them, you're no longer seeking their attention, and you're doing your own thing, sometimes um, a bell goes off or an alarm goes off in their head, like, oh, now I feel as though she's ignoring me or she's not paying me any attention. But if you're trying so hard and they know that you're trying hard, um, and then all of a sudden you don't try anymore, they're going to start asking you questions. Oh, what's going on? You're not paying me any attention. And but they didn't hear you when you were saying that that was what you were going through. And we don't know what that person is going through until we have that conversation. Now, they may say, what are you talking about? I'm here. I notice you. But transparency and honesty and open communication sometimes go a long way. But then we don't know what that individual is dealing with, why they may think that they are no longer significant enough in your life. So we have to have those conversations, adult to adult. Hey, we need to have a sit down because this is how I'm feeling. It seems like nothing that I do is getting your attention. You ignore me, you're hanging out with your friends. It's like I'm invisible. And so, open dialogue, healthy communication, and it's not about pointing a finger. It's just saying, can we talk about it? Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself because people will allow you to blame yourself and then allow you to put the blame on yourself. So the open conversation is how did we get to this space and why are we here and what can we do to change it collectively together? Because it's not a one man show. It's coming together, cohesiveness, talking about it, and we're working through it together and not just one person. If that person doesn't want to have that conversation with you, and then say, hey, um, maybe we can go speak with a therapist or a counselor to get past what I'm feeling. And then you can, at that time, you can make it personal. What I'm feeling, and maybe you can help me with this, but I'm going to need your help because maybe it's something that I'm missing at that time. But don't go into
Yeah,
it taking the fault. Um, Open it up with we need to have a conversation together.
yeah, that was a good one.
Yes.
Now, I got a question. Supposing I feel infuriated by this person and I have a lack of confidence that I'm afraid to talk to that person or afraid to put my feelings out, but it's causing me a lot of stress. But I'm not doing anything and I'm not speaking up, saying anything because I lack confidence because I'm afraid that when I do say something to him, he's going to have some harsh words for me that's going to hurt my feelings. And then that causes me more stress. How do I deal with that specific situation? Divorce?
So, no, we don't want to jump to divorce. That's what everybody's doing nowadays. They're
Yeah.
quick to get the divorce and they haven't tried to have any kind of conflict resolution, any kind of help. Um, and that um, piece that you just spoke on is a two-way street. Something happened down the line, whether it's in that relationship or other relationships, personal experiences that, and when I say you, I'm not talking about you, Dr. Roaches, but just in
That's
general,
okay.
speaking on the subject. But something caused the individual to lose their self-worth, their self-esteem, their confidence. And so nobody should have that control over you. You have to work on that piece on your own. But then what I heard is that I'm fearful of this person speaking negative about me, putting me down. It adds another stress factor. So that is a very unhealthy relationship. Again, we have to talk about it, and you have to be honest and say to that person, when you speak to me with those words, with that tone, um, sometimes it's unspoken and it's just a look of disgust. This is how it makes me feel. Um, you're hurting me. You're adding stress. You're causing my self-esteem to kind of diminish. And you have those conversations of how those actions, how those comments make you feel. And again, have that conversation. We have to be fair. A lot of times I want to talk to a counselor. I want to go to therapy. And the person is looking like, why? Because they don't necessarily know, because the whole time you've been carrying these feelings and you never had those discussions with them really honestly. Some sit down, peaceful, calm discussions. Hey, this is how I feel when you say that. And it's best to have those things written down, like have a kind of an agenda of what you're going to discuss. But it can't all be discussed in a day. Like maybe have 2 or 3 items or 1 or 2 items, because when you overwhelm a person, it feels like they're being badgered, they're being forced into a corner. So and have us, say, hey, can we spend some time over the next, month, 30, 60, 90 days, kind of talking about where this relationship is going, how I'm feeling. And then you bring up topics, because we know that it's probably not going to get resolved in a day. So sometimes you have to table stuff and say, we're going to talk about this issue. And then it's not going to be only one person. And then say, I'm gonna bring 1 or 2 things to the table. We'll talk about it the next time we meet. Um, Ponder that, think about that, because we may not have an answer that day. And I know us as women, we want to answer that day. So when we bring a topic up, we want to answer that day. We want to know why at that moment. We want you to talk, and we want you to just lay it all on the line that day. But we know men and some women too, they got to process this stuff. They got to think about it. They got to go back and process it. Sometimes they got to go and reevaluate days, weeks, years, and find when did this happen? What made them start having these feelings? What made them start treating that person that way? And then you can bring the agenda or the topic of discussions up. Allow them space to think about it, because when we pressure them, I want to know now. I want you to tell me now. I need some answers right now. And the person like, I don't have an answer. So then they give you an answer that they really was not prepared to give you, an answer that you was not prepared to hear. Allow people time to process what you're talking about. And then the next time you can talk about it, if they haven't addressed it then, and say thank you, because if they're being honest, thank them for being honest. Thank you for being honest. I appreciate the honesty. Um, and then you can either talk about how do we move forward, how do we address it, how do we correct it, and then say, and I know there's some concerns you have also. So we want to talk about your concerns. Let them know that you care enough about their feelings too. And we want to have them bring their things to the table too.
And I find out that a lot of women, when they're feeling this thing, they hold back and don't say anything, but they take out their hurt and their feeling on somebody else that hasn't done anything to them.
Yes.
So
And
that's
a lot of
not
times that's
good.
a lot of times, and that happens. Trust me, I'm guilty. A lot of times that's the most vulnerable person or the person closest that's really extending that olive branch. And then you just, because you just feel so much, you're so heavy, you're so bogged down with just these issues, and that person is like, well, did you do this? And girl, you should do this. What you talking about? I tried everything. So now you're exploding, and you're bad, you're going off on that person. They're like, look, I'm just trying to help. So they'll tell you, now you're going off on me. I'm not the person that did it to you. So then you got another unhealthy relationship stirring. Um,
Yeah.
it could be a vicious cycle, and it could be a lot of people hurt along the way or offended along the way. So we have to find this place of peace, this calm place where we can have very, very, very healthy conversations where we don't feel like we're ready to explode. And sometimes it's hard to do when so much has been dumped on us. We want to explode. We want to scream out. We want to scream at everybody. And we feel like nobody is hearing me. Nobody feels my pain. And I want somebody to hear me, somebody to feel my pain. And nobody is doing that. So now I'm upset, and I want people to know how upset I am.
Yes. Anybody else got any questions?
I have a comment,
Okay.
and the question and the answers have been just absolutely beautiful, and stated based on the assumption that the person that's causing you the stress is an intelligent human being with a heart. And so when you're dealing with someone who lives in the village of the idiots, and so that is your place of stress, and you find your place of peace, and then they're like a magnet. They find you in that place of peace and they invade your space. What you're saying is great advice, but that's advice for sane people. Person that's causing the stress is insane. And you know that there are laws against dealing with insane people the way that you're being motivated to deal with them. You just fake fine and say, and when people ask you, sister, how you doing? You say, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. And you're not, you're stressed, but you live in the village of the idiots. And so what's your answer for that?
Hi,
I'm
Miss
sorry.
Linda. So
I'm listening.
we know situations like that is very, very difficult to deal with, because we all have a level, and I know y'all gonna cringe when I say this. We all have a level of insanity, and it's just one incident for causing us to be at that level. But then some people have a history that's been their life, that's been what they're accustomed to, um, and so I'm a big advocate on praying for God's shield and protection, and to blot out all the noise. So, but people thrive off of interrupting your peace, and especially those that are not so mentally sound or mentally mature. Um, they like for feathers to be ruffed. They like they're not comfortable being in a peace environment. Sometimes that's their lifestyle, that's the way they were raised. And so being in that place of peace is not comfortable for them. It comes a time where we have to say, do I sever certain ties for the sake of my peace? And I can't answer that question for people, but your peace should mean the world to you. Your self sanity should mean the world to you. Because, and the reason why I say that, because if you don't take care of a lot of those areas, then you will notice your health will begin to shift. you'll start having inflammation. You'll start having headaches. You'll start having all kind of stuff. You may have weight gain or whatever the case may be. And you're like, okay, I take care of myself. I eat well, I eat healthy. I don't, go out and have fast food. But then I have this person that's not allowing me to be in this place of peace. And we just think I want this quiet time, this time to myself, this time where I don't have any drama and stuff like that. And we don't get it. We just think that our peace is being interrupted. But when our peace is being interrupted, our health is also warring against being healthy and unhealthy. Again, you have to let that person know. And whether they acknowledge it or come to their senses enough to know, yes, like you are literally interfering with my peace. I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything. My peace means everything to me. Outside of your relationship with God and your spirituality, but my peace, because when your peace is interrupted, believe it or not, your relationship with God suffers. Because now I can't meditate, I can't read, I can't do what I need to do. But see God first and ask for those instructions, directions, because sometimes people like, look, I've been married to this person, God honors marriage for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I'm not ready to end my marriage because of it. But nobody should really be in a very unhealthy relationship that's causing them, their own sanity, their own peace, and their own relationship with God. Because after all, that part does suffer.
Thank you.
Again, transparency is everything. And that if that person no longer care and they because sometimes it's very intentional. People will come in and know that you in your special chair, minding your own business, doing your whatever projects you have, extracurricular activities on your computer, reading a book, whatever your quiet, peaceful space is. You don't hear from that person all day long. As soon as you get there, they want to come in and clean pots together and make a bunch of noise and keep coming in and out and slamming doors. That is a trick of the enemy. So you want to rebuke that because it is a spirit. You want to rebuke that thing, I'm telling you. Because peace doesn't come easy these days. It does not come easy these days. And sometimes you got to take it by force. Demand it.
Amen.
I want to ask
Thank you.
another question since everybody else is hesitant. Does rejection cause you to have stress? Being rejected on any level, the job, our friends, neighbors, husbands, wives, children.
That is one heck of a thing to say, because it will cause a level of this of not only stress but depression and everything, isolation. When you feel on the job, in your family, amongst your friends, that you have been rejected, it will affect your self-worth, your self-esteem, and it brings on stress, it brings on isolation, loneliness. You begin to worry, and what is it about me? Why do people feel that way about me? How come no one wants to be in my space? It is not a good feeling. So yeah, it brings on a tremendous amount of stress, which then invites the other mental illness, depression, and all that other stuff will start entering in. Doubt, fear. That rejection piece is a powerful piece of being in society and feel like I am constantly rejected. or turned down or said no to when everybody else is like, oh yeah, girl, yeah, come on, you could be a part. Oh, I love you. And then when it comes to you, oh, here she comes. Like, that hurts, and it hurts to the core. So it brings on a high level of stress.
Yeah. Sometimes we are stressed because we actually stink, and the people that's supposed to like me never tell me, but they're steadily rejecting and walking away from me, and they're not telling me the truth. And that's not good. We have to learn how to be honest with one another, especially people that we care about. We have to learn how to tell them the truth.
Yeah. And let me just offer a little wisdom when that happens, and when you feel that way. Go to that person, say, hey, I noticed that you kind of standoffish, or I feel a little bit rejected. Now, a lot of people are not going to be honest. Oh, no, you're fine, everything is okay, you're fine. And so your response or your rebuttal would be like, well, what you're saying right now doesn't quite line up with your actions. And I'm the type of person that I hear what you say, but then when I look at your actions, it tells me otherwise. And I'm not going to take away the fact that you said what you said, and I want to hold you true to that. But I kind of need to see what you say to really line up with that. So now you're holding them accountable. I hear you. I respect what you said. I want to believe what you said. But now I need to kind of feel that and see it line up.
Yeah.
And so when you call them out and let them know, yeah, I heard you, it's questionable, and now I need to start seeing it. I need to start seeing you activate that. If that's really what you mean, then all those things are action words. So I need to see you start acting that way. And if you see a pushback or them really separating, then you know that what they said was not true. Because now they're held accountable to those words that they told you. And let me just say this. When we create those type of atmospheres, and we tell people, if they ask you, how you doing? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And we're not fine. You know what happens? We really become silent liars because we're not telling our truth. So we're silent about our true feelings, and we're lying about how we really feel. So we're being silent about our true feelings. So now we're a silent liar. We're not telling them about how we feel. And we begin to tell people what we think we want to hear, because why? We don't want them to pass judgment. We don't want to be like, oh, she going through what she going through. But let them know, I'm experiencing a high level of stress. I'm kind of feeling, like I'm being rejected. And that transparency, be like, oh, okay. And then if a person cares enough, they're going to have that talk with you. What makes you feel that way? And is it something I did? So that's a person showing some care and concern about your feelings. Because why? You're honest. Because they'll come back and say, well, sure, I asked her how she's feeling. She told me everything was good. And it really wasn't.
That's where we make our mistake. We never want to admit that we're stressed out. Like Linda said, we're faking the fine, because we are really going through something, but we feel in our mind that we can handle it, that we can deal with whatever situation that we're going through. We're all overwhelmed with our surrounding circumstances, but we ain't saying nothing. We're just taking it as it happened to us each and every day. And that's not good. So I've learned to speak up when people ask me how I'm doing, to say I'm doing okay, but I'm not 100%.
Okay.
I need to work on some things, you know. And if I got a problem with you, I need to be honest with you, you know. If you my if I feel that you're my problem, I need to let you know. And so many
Absolutely.
times, so many times people cannot grow and get better if we don't tell them the truth.
True.
That's the value of stress. Telling people the truth. We can't be transparent. And sometimes that you can't tell everybody your story.
That's right. That's right.
Because when you start telling everybody, they start adding on to what you said and changing the whole trajectory of the story that's about you. So you got to be careful who you tell your problems to, who you want to speak to. And sometimes you get to a point, you know, I can tell you about me and you can go and say what you want to say, but I know God got the truth. And then sooner or later it's going to come get you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sister Mackenzie, I have enjoyed you. And you was talking about I'm one of those people that when people ask me, Jean, how are you doing? I'm blessed. Even though I know I'm going through hell at the time. So let me explain why I say I'm blessed, even though I know I have a situation going on. I say I'm blessed because I refuse to give in, and say, without sounding contradictory or whatever. I don't like to give my problem a voice until I'm like Sister Rocha said, I'm with that one person that I can talk to, and I know they're going to see me. They're not going to judge what I'm saying. They might not even have a comment to what I'm saying. They're just listening. But I do have a built-in, I guess because of the way I was raised and the way I deal. I tell you the truth, this word stress, I've never heard the word stress as much as I hear it now. When someone told me, Jean, you are walking depressed, I'm going, I am. I didn't know that I was depressed. Didn't know that I was stressed. I just know that I was dealing with a whole lot of stuff. And I was dealing with it because of the grace that God was giving me. Like I say, those two words, depression and stress, those are not in my vocabulary. So I don't use those words, stress. Oh, you stressed? I am? Well, I didn't know that. You're telling me something I didn't know. Because the way I handle my situation is my faith is going to do my talking. I am blessed, regardless to the situation. Now, like I said, when I get a chance to tell somebody or that one person that I do talk to, I can be transparent with that one person. But as they say, y'all pray for me. I'm this type of person. Everybody don't have to know what I'm going through. Now, some people that know me can read me real good because I'm not going to show it in my face. I'm not going to show it in my actions. Okay? There was a time someone preached is how you situate yourself in your situation. Well, the way I chose to situate myself in my situation is not to dwell on the bad, because the enemy always wants to blow up what's bad. He wants you to see that more than you see the blessing, because there's a blessing even in your storm. There's a blessing in your storm. So I'm always looking at the outcome. I don't have already gone to the end and said, this too shall pass. What I'm going through, I look at it as a teaching tool. Okay, God, what is it that you want me to learn in this situation? There's something that he might be trying to get out of me. or something that he's allowing me to be tested so that I can be a testimony to someone else. So I am one of those that say I'm blessed, regardless of my situation. Because Sister Dorothy can tell you that I've given her things that I have gone through. And I flat out lost my mind behind it. But even with me losing my mind, I believe I said this already before, God gave me his mind. So I still looked at it as blessed, even though, like you said, I was losing my hair. Okay. But I was still functioning. I could not function. I had to function because I had small ones at the time. Okay. So I had to deal with that. So the way I approach situations in my life is, I know this look bad and I want it to be better, but I always look at it as, what's the lesson in what it is that I'm going through?
The value of your stress.
What is it that you want? So there's a lesson, Sister Dorothy. Sometimes there's a lesson in your stress. God is either working something out of you, or it is a reason, because he's sending you, like he's sending me to the women. So he always said, why? How can you say I'm sending you to the women if you never go through anything? You hear what I'm saying? So, and he never said that this walk with him was going to be easy anyway. So, like I said, that proclamation that I make, I'm blessed, that helps me get through my situation. If you understand what I'm saying, that helps me. Now, everybody might not see it like that, but this is the way I see it. I'm blessed because in my head, although I might not be saying it to you, but in my head, this is the situation right now, and it came to pass, and this too shall pass. That's the way I handle situations. Sometimes I don't handle them good. Sometimes people really see, okay? But that's how I'm blessed gives me confidence that I'm coming out of this. I'm in it right now, but I'm coming out of it. And like I say, I always say, everybody's not Jean. This is the way, and a lot of times stress will make you build up walls. It's sometimes you want, like you said, you want to get by yourself. You want to be by yourself. You don't want to talk to nobody. Okay, you want to be by yourself. My go-to is music. I love music. My world. If I want to come out of that I'm dealing with, I get in my world. I turn on my music, and God is ministering to me through music. He's ministering to me. So what he's doing is he's giving me strength. So yes, I can say I'm blessed, even though I'm going through hell. I say I'm blessed. And some people know otherwise. Jean, I know what you're going through. But when someone told me, say, Jean, I know what you're going through, but when I look at you, that gives me confidence that what I'm dealing with right now, I can go through it too. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to make it sound like I don't ever go through stress, I don't have issues or anything like that. Yeah, because sometimes I used to teach cheering. Y'all say, forgive me for saying cheering. But in my last day of work, I'm saying, okay, God, let the time come on. Because the children was stressing me out to where I wanted to snatch one of them. Okay. And I know I couldn't. So I had to keep my distance from them. Okay. And I'm saying, okay, God, I need this time to come on. That was stressful. I was so stressed one day in the classroom. Dorothy, I started to pick my purse up and walk out the classroom. So, but I didn't know that was stress. I just knew that was a situation that I didn't want to deal with. I was tired of dealing with it, but that's just my take, on stress. Yes, we have stress issues. Now that I realize it's stress.
And one of the things that I heard you say, Jean, that's the value of your stress. The value of the stress. Tell us about the good stress, Dr. McKenzie.
Ah,
She
oh, she's muted. She don't hear you.
So what was the last question?
tell us about good stress and the importance of having stress and the
So
value.
Yeah, so there is good stress. Believe it or not, there's good stress because sometimes stress will push you to your next level. Because we get comfortable. We get so comfortable in our comfort zone. And sometimes stress will take us to the next level. And I like what you said because it causes us to come out of that situation, come out of that stagnant behavior, come out of being in neutral. So God will add that pressure, that stress, and say because we need to be elevated, we need to see that growth. And sometimes we so comfortable, and it's like, oh, I'm comfortable. I don't want to be a part of this, or I don't want to go to the next. And God was like, I'm trying to take you to the next level because there's another level of people waiting for you. And when he began to add that, take out that comfort zone, remove that floor, and you feel like you dropping, falling to the bottom floor. He was like, you've been on this level too long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to remove you from this level. I'm just going to totally take the whole floor out. And I'm going to add some pressure. I'm going to add some stress. And then we have to climb our way back up. And before we know it, we're on a whole nother level. Because that pressure, that stress was added. And that's good stress. That's good stress. We put stress and pressure on our kids to do better. Come on now, you could have did better on that. I know your potential. Like God knows our potential. And so we add stress. I need you to step in your study game. I need you to, whatever. And we're adding that stress because we see potential. We want to get them to a higher place. We want to get them to their destiny. We want to get them to where their purpose is. And sometimes we have to add that stress, that pressure, in order to get them to the next level, just like God does us. Like you've been sitting here in this, and I've given you a vision, I've given you a purpose, I've given you a plan. And because right now your life is going just the way you wanted to go, and I don't have no stress, so I ain't making no moves. So that's when that stress comes. It don't feel good. Clearly, it don't feel good. But after we see where we come from that stress, when we look back, it was like, oh, okay, all right, now I'm in a really good space where I should have been a year ago, 5 years, 10 years ago. I was so comfortable that he had to kind of shake some stuff up and add some pressure, add some stress, add some uncomfortable situations in order for me to start again reactivating my faith. Because if you don't have anything to kind of work towards, any kind of goals, any kind of things, how do you have faith that God is going to work out a difficult situation when everything you in your life is so easy? How do you know he's capable? Yeah, we read it and we believe it, but until I've experienced it, I can say, whoo, let me tell you, the stress was so heavy, the things came on, and now I know it increased my faith in God because I know that only God was the one that could work that thing out. So it increases your faith. It takes you to another level, but it necessarily doesn't feel good but it was good for you. It was good for your purpose. It was good for your elevation. It was good for the people that's in your life that's not going to move until you move. Do you know there's people ain't going to move? They ain't going to go nowhere until you move? For hindrance to them. Like, come on now. I got to add some stress. I got to, put a little boiling water up under this because after all, this person got a whole bunch of folks that ain't moving until they move.
That's the same way with King David. Samuel came and the oil flowed and everything. So you thought immediately he was going to go into the kingship. But it was 15 years before David became the king. He had to go through what Saul was doing to him. He had to hide in a cave. He had to run for his life. All the he didn't write down all the things he went through to get what God was preparing for him. In order for him to be the king, he had to go through something. So as all of us, we have to go through something to get to our assignment, a divine purpose that God has for us in our life.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Dr. McKenzie, you've been absolutely awesome, like I know you are. I'm going to let you go so you can go to your birthday party and wish happy birthday to whoever.
Yeah, I got the 3 little ones at a birthday party, and I'm taking over. They let me use another room, but you can see the traffic and stuff like that. But thank you all. Thank you all for just listening. Thank you all for your questions. I hope that this helps somebody. Every time I'm speaking, I'm doing anything, it's not just for the people that's watching, the people that's a part of the panel, but it's for myself too.
Mm-hmm.
It's always for me too. So I don't just say just to be saying it. I see how it can be applied to my life, my experiences, or just maybe some things that's coming down the fork for me, and then how to deal with those things. So as I minister to people, I speak to people, I'm also doing it for myself as well.
Amen.
So thank you for having
Thank you.
Thank you, son.
You're going to always be included in what I'm doing, Dr. McKenzie, because you're a blessed, anointed woman of God, and I just love you, love you, love you. And I'm not just saying words. But I love all y'all. I mean, to tell you, y'all my girlfriends, my sisters, my sweethearts. You treat me with honor and respect, and I thank God for that. Ain't but one person on this video is older than I am, and she is so full of wisdom. I thank God for her. She has so much wisdom. And a long time ago, I told her when I met her that you and I are going to do ministry together. And I don't know what she thought about that commitment, but that was about 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago. And we still at it. Thank you, Jesus. And she's going to tell us tonight about our financial stresses. Because a lot of us go through financial stresses and we don't know how to deal with the financial stress. When you ain't got no money, but you got a lot of bills, a lot of things, and the economy going up and prices of food going up, cars, everything. You don't have everything you need. Linda's going to tell us how to deal with financial stress. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Dr. McKinney. Have a great evening.
All right. Thank you all for having me. Have a blessed evening.
All right.
See you soon. Thank you for that introduction, Dorothy, and evening to everyone. And she was saying that one of the person that's on the video is older than she is, and I think she was talking about me. I went to a reunion recently, and after we did our circle of prayer to thank God for our food, the president of our family said, we went ahead and fixed so you and Uncle Corey can go. And I'm going, the elderly, are they here? He was talking about me, and I realized that I am the elderly now. So thank God for the blessing. As a matter of fact, this is a good segue into my first statement I want to share. Dorothy, do you have the PowerPoint?
Yes, I do.
She's just smiling. The first statement on our PowerPoint, I heard this in a song the other day, and I wanted to share it. And it says, age is not a defeat, but a victory. Not a punishment, but a privilege. And so, yes, I'm 75, and I am so excited that even at this ripe old age, that I am still here and I am victorious and I am privileged. Because when you get past the age of grace, first of all, that's where you are in the age of grace. But regardless to age or gender or circumstance, finances can cause you a lot of stress. So we're going to talk about how we can stop creating stress on your agenda. A little bit about what stress is. We're going to talk about income stress, expense stress, because your income might be okay, but expenses can take away from your income and cause you stress. And then there are some stress boundaries with your family that we want to be able to identify. So our next slide just is a slide all by itself, because we say that we don't get stressed, or we just too blessed to be stressed. But stress has a lot of power in our lives. And even though we say that we can control it, or we have it, or we can respond to it a certain way, there is power in stress. And if we don't understand how to deal with it financially, it can cause us to get totally throw us off center. So the next slide is defining stress. So stress is often used to describe a feeling of emotional or mental tension, but it can also refer to a physical strain on the body. When you're worried about how you're going to make your mortgage payment or your car note, or there's a medical bill that you just don't know where the money is coming from, or it's more week left at the end of the money, it can cause you to be physically ill, and it can cause strains on the body, on your spirit, on your emotions. And we have to understand how to get control of that stress. So let's talk about how one of the ways is to be able to analyze your expenses. It's important that as good stewards that we compare our income with identify what the projected income is. You need to understand your expenses to develop a spending plan. This should be an annual exercise that starts well before retirement. We're going to get into that in a few minutes, but look ahead and estimate the income you expect to receive from various sources. If you have a paycheck, if you have a pension, or do you have Social Security, or do you have part-time work? Even though it appears to be consistent, there are outside forces that can negatively impact your income. And so if you don't have a good plan, then you've already planned to fail. So then figure out any potential gaps. If your living expenses is $7,000 a month and you're bringing in $6,970, then you might be experiencing a gap. The gap is the difference between how much you have coming in and how much you owe. So make sure that you understand that so you can overcome financial stress. Next slide. Financial stress typically occurs when an event that negatively affects financial standing. So most people experience financial stress at some point in their lives, whether it's due to personal reasons or an economic climate that creates a sense of scarcity or instability. If you're buying a new home, struggling with debt, losing a job, all of those things can cause significant anxiety. And if you're paying attention to what's going on in our society, that financial stress can be a real issue, because you can't control what's being decided for you, but you can control how you react to it. Next slide. So let's talk about some examples of stress. What about the stress of an upcoming deadline? It can cause you to lose sleep. You know that there's something that is due, like that report that I have to do tonight before I go to bed. And it can make you lose sleep because even if you're in the bed, you're still thinking about what you have to do as soon as you get up because you haven't completed an assignment. What about constant criticism? Can't that cause you to have some stress? People constantly nitpicking at everything that you do. You just cannot get a break, and you're already having all of these other issues. It can affect you. What about worrying about the welfare of a family member? That can cause you to lose your hair. And you wonder why your hair is coming out. It's not a physical thing. It might be a stress thing. What about financial stress that can cause you to lose your sobriety? You're so stressed that you used to not drink, but now you find yourself finishing off a whole glass of wine before you can go to sleep at night. Those are examples of stress. You're not dealing with it. You found something to deal with it that can have a negative impact. And then that last area is what was it? Listening to the daily news can cause stress and cause you to miss personal goals. If you get wrapped up in MSNBC, it can cause you to have stress that don't have nothing to do with you. Just listening to the drama that's going on, or watching a stress and getting caught up in it's watching a soap opera can get you caught up in stress. These are examples, and when these things are impacting you, it can make your money be funny. Next slide. So it's important that we set boundaries. There are people that know you, that know exactly when you get paid, and they are basing their welfare on whether or not you're going to contribute to their lifestyle, their habits, their needs. And those people might be your spouse. It might be the kids, the grandkids, the great grandkids. It might be aging parents. It could be friends. It could be your church family. It can be the people in your network. It's important that we establish your expectations about these people and their financial responsibility, because by causing us financial stress, we're not helping them. We're hurting them and causing ourselves stress. So set financial boundaries to avoid the stress. Share your own plan with your children, with your children's financial needs, whether your children are young or adults or young adults or grown and gone, but still raiding your refrigerator adults. Those boundaries need to be set, because for everything that they take from you, you're the person that has to replace it. That can cause you financial stress. Next slide. There are some places where we let money come out of our hands and don't even realize that the way that we spend our money can cause stress on us. So we have to be able to release some of the stress by eliminating some common money wasters. And I'm going to share a few of them with you. Food delivery. I don't know who came up with Grubhub and Uber Eats and DoorDash, but that is an expensive habit. You order a hamburger that costs $12 and you pay $15 to have it delivered. Does that make sense to you? The stat says that America spends nearly $1,600 a year on food delivery services. And so if that's a way that's pulling money out of your pocket, that might be a source of stress. Next slide. We can still release stress by eliminating some common money wasters. Think about these things in your personal life and consider eliminating going to concerts or going to conferences. What about going to the movies? You know that movies on Tuesdays is only $5. If you gotta go on Tuesdays. Wholesale clubs, do you really need to go to Sam's Club and overspend buying more stuff than you need because you're at Sam's Club buying in bulk? What about fitness memberships? Why can't you just walk outside? What about bowling? What about takeout dinners? What was that?
What's
And
a
what
takeout
about
dinner?
HBO, Netflix, Hulu, Prime, All of those are subscriptions that just zap money out of our accounts, and even Apple Music. The internet. Did you know that for senior citizens, internet is only $19.95 with Infinity? We're not going to even go into that. We spend, if you're doing money stresses by ordering snacks and seafood. Seafood is so expensive right now. It's like taking a vacation. What's about the manicure and the pedicure? Packaged salads, you know, that salads are expensive. What about water delivery? If these things are pulling money out of your fund, out of your household, consider eliminating them in order to have less stress on your finances. Next slide. Release stress by eliminating, it's the next one. The next one is extended warranties. Have you ever considered about the purpose of extended warranties and how much it actually costs you? A lot of products come with a standard warranty, and the manufacturer guarantees that it's going to last a certain period of time. And they will also guarantee that they will fix it or replace the item for free if it breaks down during the warranty period. But if you just purchase a new mobile phone, a refrigerator, or a car, chances are the seller offered you an extended warranty for a fee. And then they ask you to renew it automatically. And then you see a EFT to your account that you hadn't even anticipated on, and that puts financial stress on you. So do some research before you buy extended warranty. And what about bank fees? It's very convenient to grab money out of the ATM, but if you're paying $3.95 every time you take money out of your bank, and every time you use an ATM, you're spending $5.75 every time you get your own money. So that can add stress to your accounts. And so do some research and make some planning and know when you're going to pull out your cash, and then manage your cash so that you don't have to continue to pay bank fees. Next slide. What about energy vampires? A number of your devices that you use occasionally, like your computer, your printer, your TV, your coffee maker, they're quietly consuming electricity when you're not using them. If you don't monitor the energy that you use for items that are running, but you're not using them at the time, those are money stressors. So you can use a power cord that really dictates how much energy comes out of those items, and it cuts down on your energy bill. So do some research and see how you can cut some prices there, because we're trying to take stress out of the money that we lose in our budget. How about the next one? Water leaks. In addition to keeping you up at night, a faucet that's dripping will cost you money. Or a toilet or a shower head, it's going to drive up your water bill. A single faucet that leaks at a rate of 1 drip per second wastes 3,000 gallons of water per year. And that can cost you extra money. So if it's dripping, fix it so that it doesn't cause you financial stress. Next. Unnecessary groceries. Now, we've all been there. We go to the store and we buy some things and we stock up on things at the supermarket, especially if they got a sign in it that says for sale or reduced. And we bring it home and we store it in our refrigerator, store it in our cabinet, put it in the basket until it spoils, and we have no choice but to toss it out. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. The average family of 4 tosses approximately $3,000 worth of uneaten food into the garbage each year. If that is you, please stop. And if you have $3,000 to waste, my Cash App address is not. And what about subscriptions? have you ever gone through and seen what you pay for Microsoft 365, Adobe? What is that thing that, the iCloud, all of these subscriptions that you get online, it's easy to forget them. And more than 4 out of 5 Americans have at least one paid subscription that they don't use. So and especially if it's automatically deducted. 2 weeks ago, Best Buy, I had a contract with the Geek Squad 2 years ago, and they sent me an email saying, we have processed your annual fee of $399.99. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what happened? And they had actually, I guess when I signed up, I signed a statement saying, bill me annually, but it was 2 years ago. Fortunately for me, that account had been closed and they couldn't. I had to send them a note. This was an unauthorized charge. Please do not take this out of my account. But we have lots of those. Do some homework, clean up your backyard. Others can turn into money leaks if you're not watchful.
That's so true.
So financial peace after 55 is just ahead. These are just a few tips that I want to share with you, and then we will be concluded. So let's look at the next slide. What does it say?
This one?
The next one. Okay. So these are some things to do in order to be prepared so that you won't have stress in your life when it comes to money. You can avoid financial stress and position yourself for kingdom impact and personal stability if you create a post-retirement budget. Post means before. If you maximize your employer-sponsored retirement plan, if your employer is contributing to your retirement plan, increase that amount, because when you retire, your pension does not keep pace with inflation. And so if you don't have money already set up to account for inflation, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Open and fund an IRA. So if you are 7-ish, there's nothing wrong with starting another IRA, because if you live to be the ripe old age of 98, between 70 and 98, the economy is going to increase, and you're going to need that money that you're setting aside in the IRA. So think about that. Also, automate your savings. Set aside a system that zaps that money out of your account that you were spending on Netflix and Hulu, and it goes into a savings account for you. Eliminate high interest debt. A relative of mine needed a payday loan, and they gave him $600. I asked him how much he was going to have to pay it back. He says $2,600. I'm going, what? You're paying $2,600 to use $600, and you're paying $222 a month. What sense does that make? How much interest are you paying? He says, I didn't even check. The interest was 588%. Oh my gosh. That can cause financial stress and put you in a position so that you will not have any piece of stability in your life. So stress test your retirement plan, explore income strategies, and ensure that your estate planning aligns with your goal. Make sure that you are positioning yourself for success. And then protect against risk. Consider getting a long-term care insurance policy while you're young enough to afford it. Once you pass 55, it's very expensive. And at some point in your life, you might need long-term care. But if you have the right type policy and you don't need the long-term care and you never use it, it has a return of premium rider in it. So you can say, if I don't need this, by the time that I'm 90, I need you to give me all my premium back, and they'll give you your money back if you know how to shop for it. So these steps help to safeguard your assets and reduce the burden on your loved ones. I'm almost done, Dorothy. So Matthew 6:31-33 says, so do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? But seek first the kingdom of his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So if we release ourselves from financial stress and we don't worry about where things are going to come from, the Lord has us covered. We will be okay. So if you have any questions or you want to dig into any of these a little bit deeper, please let me know. My number is 832-483-3816, or you can email me at finnporter@yahoo.com. There's one more slide.
And it has the R on the end, but don't add the R. It's finnporter@yahoo.com.
Oh, it has an R. That was my southern accent. Okay. There was one last slide, I think. Yes, it says, be blessed, do not stress. And my God will meet all your needs according to his riches of his glory in Christ Jesus. Financial freedom is just ahead. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you tonight. And we are not going to be stressed financially because we're going to be good steward and manage all that God has given us, because he holds us personally for managing all that he provides for us. Every resource, every dollar, we're accountable. So thank you, and let's just be blessed and don't be financially stressed. Dr.
Amen.
Dorothy.
Amen. Thank you. Then I really enjoyed that, and there's so much truth in it because I canceled a whole bunch of subscription, whatever you call them. So that makes sense.
Prescriptions and subscriptions, huh?
Yeah, I did. I canceled both of them because, I was spending a bunch of money just on subscriptions and prescriptions. But I canceled a whole bunch of them, and that allowed me to pay some bills off that I would have taken me more time to pay them off, but canceling those subscriptions saved me a lot of money.
I would like to be able to at another time share another PowerPoint that I have on managing your medical expenses, because there's a lot that we don't know, questions to ask before the doctor says, well, we have an outpatient procedure. It's very minor. We're going to sedate you, and then we're going to send you home, and then you can come see me in 2 weeks. But your medical coverage, if you're on Medicare, if it's an outpatient procedure, you have a 30% out-of-pocket cost that you have to pay. But if they keep you in the hospital overnight and observe you, it's no cost.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to manage those benefits that we have and understand how to ask questions before we agree to procedures, how to ask for discounts on medication, how to get if you have a telemedicine visit, a video doctor visit, they're not supposed to charge you a copay. It's free, but they charge you the copay. And so it's just little stuff that we don't know, but we'll schedule that for another PowerPoint.
Yes,
what's
indeed.
that face that you're making? Jean, what's that face you're making? It's just interesting.
You got to turn your microphone on, Jean.
I'm sorry, but I'm saying that sounds interesting. I would love to know more about that.
Okay, I will be ready when Dr. Roaches takes me out of retirement to come back and do a presentation.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. And be prepared, because I just want to make an announcement. Our 8th annual Cancer Survivor Overcomer Conference is October the 17th. And Sister Jean is taking care of everything. But I'm gonna say
awesome.
she's in training. She's in training. She's gonna be awesome when she get that training. But
Yes, I am.
who's gonna be our speaker, G?
There's a friend of mine that the Lord just blessed her to come through series of chemos and radiation, and I mean from death's door, that the Lord has blessed her tremendously. And so I asked her to be my speaker for the conference, and she agreed to do so. So I don't know if we're going to have one or two. I'm not for sure. I haven't got that far into it yet, but she's going to be one of our speakers. She is a cancer survivor.
And then you look forward to having a PowerPoint, because we ought to be. I don't know if you guys want to do. Let me end this. Jim, have the last word and close us out. And
Okay.
y'all stay on so we can talk.
Thank God that this subject has come up about stress. I tell you, I'm learning more and more about stress. I realized that I was stressed and didn't know it. I just knew that I was going through something that was pulling my hair out. But thank God he brought me through it. I'm on this side of it, all for the better. So, Lord, right now, we thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. Father, we thank you how you came and intervened and gave words of wisdom through Sister Porter, through Dr. McKenzie, through Dr. Roaches. God, we thank you. We appreciate you for what you're doing in this hour. God, I ask you to prepare us for the things that you have, for the destiny that you have in store for us, God, for the plan that you have for us, God. Prepare us, God. Move us in your direction. Bless our minds and bless our hearts. God, those that were listening tonight, Father, you understand their plight. You understand where they are. You see them, you hear them, you feel them, you understand them. God, I speak blessings in the name of Jesus. We thank you for what you're doing right now, what you're going to do in our lives. In your son, Jesus Christ's name, I pray, amen.
Amen.